This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's episode 1203, and it's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Nashville, artist, producer, mogul, Derek Miner.
What's happening?
Just down the street there, our managing editor, downtown Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
And in LA, you know him from Social Club Misfits, it's Marty.
What up?
This is the Tuesday show. We're recording on Monday. We had to move it because Derek is having construction. Our recording normally is on Friday. Derek was having construction. How's your home renovations going? You doing all right?
My house is a mess.
Is it really? I thought they were going to be done. You said they were going to be done.
No. I thought they were, but you know, whenever you think someone's going to be done with the renovation, it's another 2 weeks. So, yeah, my vanity is in my living room, and me and my wife are sleeping in our guest room. So,
it's that bad,
dude.
Yeah, it's like that. I
had a friend who was down in St. Pete, and she in St. Pete, Florida, got hit by the Helene or whatever. And I'm not making light. I mean, a lot of people are really struggling right now in the Southeast.
Definitely.
But so in Tampa and St. Pete, apparently the storm surge, the ocean went 6, 8, 10 feet and flooded the entire everything on the first floor. So my friend just moved to another part of the city, but spent the weekend. She went back because her friend's family was down in St. Pete, and she visited her old apartment that she moved out of 2 days before the storm. She said water line was at the ceiling, like the entire, she's like, I would have lost everything. And the vanity of the bathroom floated into the living room, and it was just sitting there in the middle of the apartment. Like, she sent me a picture of it. It's crazy.
What a nightmare.
So
can
you imagine?
Wow.
And her uncle's house, like, it's like dirt line up to about 5 feet, and everything that was under 5 feet in the house is destroyed. So like everything he owned is just gone. It's crazy.
That was one hurricane for the ages, man. And I always think about the heirlooms in situations like this, like the things that, man, I got this from my mom, I got this from my dad, photos, photo albums. That's the thing that always comes to mind, because, you can replace a microwave or, a sofa or something like that. But those are the things that's like, we had to get out of here, and maybe I forgot it, so.
It's like, what's the first thing you're grabbing that's like the question of the day. It's such a dark question. It won't be, but it's like, what are you grabbing when you got to like leave the house? Like, what's the thing you're going to grab? Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer.
I'm going to say the customers. Just kidding. No, I'm going to say the from the office. I say the customers.
Yeah. I would have saved the receptionist.
Yeah. And the worst part about it was on TikTok, people are showing the damage happening, and then people are like, I don't have insurance. And so one lady was like, you see out her window, and it's literally, she's underwater. It's like in a cruise boat. And then she's taking her dog, and they told her to leave. They said, hey, you have to evacuate this area. She didn't do that. The police had to come get her, which I feel like is such a waste of public service when there are older people and people who didn't have enough time with animals and stuff like that. And it was her baby, and her husband, and their whole house had no insurance. Absolutely atrocious.
And you saw Asheville, North Carolina is totally cut off from civilization right now. Totally. Every road in and out washed away. And like they have no
North Carolina, right?
Oh, in the entire arts district, the cool arts district down by the river, gone. It washed away. The river.
Oh man, that's painful.
It's rough.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
Asheville's such Asheville is such a dope city, man. Like, man, I hate to hear that. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. It was really, I flew out of Nashville actually on Thursday night because I flew to Texas because I had like a family reunion. And I was nervous about even leaving because I wasn't sure if I was going to make, because like by the time I left, the rains were starting to hit. But then I'm in Texas on Friday, and I'm seeing people post videos online of different parts of even like I think like lower Tennessee, but just throughout the Southeast about all this flooding happening. And I'm over there thinking, crap, I don't know what's happening in Nashville right now. Like, what if my car is like in like 4 inches of rain and stuff? Thankfully, it wasn't bad in Nashville, but it just like seeing those pictures, it's like, I never imagined, like, especially when you're so inland, you never imagine that. So seeing like Asheville like that, it's like, I don't think they ever assumed a hurricane hitting Florida would in fact
month
like
later.
impact it like this. Yeah.
Well, and the flooding, the flooding thing it's like it wasn't wind, right? I mean, it's just all that rain being dumped so fast. That's the thing about flooding too. It's like not even when it's raining and when the storm hits, it's the day after and the day after as all that water floods into the rivers and lakes and they just go crazy. I mean, so it's still happening. I mean, I saw Dante Stewart, who's been on this show. He's in Augusta, Georgia, and he's like, the news is not reporting what's happening in Augusta, Georgia. He's like, we are totally cut off. We have no power, no gas, no food. Nothing's open. And we need help. He literally tweeted that this morning. We need help. And it's like, it's crazy what's going on. So we actually at the site, if you care, if you want to help, we Emily researched a bunch of organizations that are there doing disaster relief. Convoy of Hope is there, Operation Blessing, World Vision, and ways that you can give and support the work. I mean, people need emergency help right now.
When we had our flood a while back, I could tell you I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And my prayers and thoughts are with everybody because it's not just the flooding is bad and then where we're at right now, but it's the length of time it takes to recover from this as a city is bad because water is one of the most, it's life-giving, but it can be one of the most destructive things naturally. So, man, definitely, consider donating and consider definitely donate your prayers at minimum, but donate some money too.
I felt really bad because we talked about this a little on the last show, but like in Orlando, we don't get directly hit by hurricanes very often. And so everybody will like freak out, over prepare. And then it's just like a normal summer storm kind of, So we recorded our last show, like while the hurricane was starting to hit here. Wow. And I went outside and I filmed. I didn't go outside. I filmed through the window, but like I filmed like the storm hitting and I had forgotten. I take it so not seriously. I forgot to like move my patio furniture or anything. Like things, projectiles could have been flying around. Anyway, so I was like, crud. And I posted that on my IG story. And then like it passed like a few hours later. And all that happened in my yard was like one pillow fell off of a lounge chair. And I was like, we will rebuild. And I felt I just did it to make a joke, And then I'm like, I thought it was going to be like not a bad storm. And then now all these people it's like one of the deadliest storms in U.S. history. Yeah, and I feel really bad for like joking about it,
Key. It was so, no one knew. People were not like even taking it seriously. It felt like at one point. No. Like, I mean, I was calling family in Florida and like, it's a hurricane. Whatever. Like, we're so used to it, I think, in Florida. They're not used to it in Nashville. They're not used to it in Nashville getting a hurricane. Like, we're used to this. We're built for it. Right. We have the flood systems. And my parents' house is built on a hill. Like, there's certain things in Florida we've just been built to work around. But all these other cities aren't built. Like, Atlanta's not built for that.
Nah. No. If that's a Cat 4, I don't even want to know what a Cat 5 is. Like,
we've Cat 5s. The Cat 5 going over your city, there will be no buildings left. I mean, like, that's it. It just
was
levels.
Katrina a 4 or 5?
I think it was a 5, but the big issue with Katrina, so about 150 people have passed away on this one. It was the levees got broken, and so it drowned the city. Yeah. And like 1,800 people died, I think, in Katrina. Something like that. And this one is like over 100 now, but I mean, Katrina is like
they flooded the third ward in New Orleans instead of flooding the downtown. It was. Yeah, we don't even want to talk about that. No
more. I was going to say, there's a lot of systemic issues at play right there. I mean,
speaking of flooding the music world.
Oh, transition.
right, yeah, it was good.
Stick with it.
I've been learning from Jesse. I've been watching him for a couple years. Flooding the music world.
Speaking of,
dude, this is hilarious. So for the listeners, before the show came on, we were talking about this. Somebody that we all follow, I guess, because I saw it too on Twitter over the weekend, said, "Hey, I think I'm going to make a playlist of all the songs that Christian rappers have ripped off from mainstream rappers. So it's like, here's the Christian version or the Christian ripoff of that. And she made this playlist, and Marty was going through it.
We're going
Marty,
viral.
are you or Derek on the playlist at all?
Fortunately, we're not on it.
Okay,
kind of
good,
sad
good.
to be, but as I'm looking at it, shout out to Kayla Sauce. As I'm looking at it, it keeps extending. Keeps saying, I think now they're going to CCM, and now they're going into different categories. So it should be interesting.
Get messy.
Yeah, it should be definitely. I love that it's. First off, let me explain something. A guy could not do this playlist. A guy couldn't do it because a guy wouldn't even do it right. Number one, like she thought of, which is a smart way, is showing the song, which I was going to give advice to. Like I was like, I hope that she shows the song and then the reference song. She did. I was like, guys would just put song, and then we'd have to figure it out. But she made this playlist super, super smart. A lot of interesting songs that made us laugh because of how blatantly stolen they are. But yeah, me and Derek aren't on it, thankfully. And there's a couple other people on it yet. Yeah, hopefully. There's a couple.
We're not on it yet.
We all have references.
Don't. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch.
When you were going through it before we started recording, like, I don't want to out anybody. I'm not going to we're not trying to dog any Christian rappers.
Check it out yourself, yeah.
Yeah, just check it out yourself. But I was thinking, like, you were playing some clips, and it was like, this isn't like I'm inspired by. This is the exact same beat.
Yeah, you had to tell me when you started a new song because I thought it was the same song.
Yeah, and even if it wasn't the same beat, it was so similar to the original beat that we didn't even know.
Can I ask, you guys are artists and producers, it's like, what's the thought process when an artist does something like that? Are they thinking like nobody's going to notice, or are they just?
They're thinking, I'm going to get money. They're thinking, I'm going to. Well, I think it's a couple thoughts. The first thought is maybe there are Christian people who don't know this reference track. That could be it. But as we went through the playlist, some of these are so big. How could you not know Shabuzi? How could you not know some of these big songs? So I think that there's this. In my opinion, this is like a level that you hit when you're like, I need anything to work. Like, I want something to work. And, some of the remakes they're actually pretty good. They're just, how do you celebrate something that's like a remake of something that exists already? And I don't know. I don't know the rules there for that, but it's Derek could probably speak on a little more than I can, but it's definitely a weird sliding slope when you're this close to the original song. It's not inspired, it's influenced.
I'm about to get in trouble, but it's okay. As
a writer, I can't imagine reading somebody's article, or as a designer looking at their graphic, their image, and replicating it. And
that
not
happens
thinking,
a lot too.
But like, I'm like, that's plagiarism. There's that, like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand why in music
they're not big enough to get sued probably right now. But
I think that's what I was wondering is like, how do they legally get away with blatantly
nobody
copying?
cares.
Yeah, nobody cares.
I
mean, one of the artists, their song got taken down because the estate that they sampled was like, hey, no, because it got that big though. But all these songs right there, they're not going to hit like most of these songs aren't hitting 1 million.
Yeah, but even if they do hit 1 million, that's not enough to like move the needle to make the.
But isn't that like a mixtape? Isn't that mixtape like Drake's first thing when he broke out when he was?
Nah, that's different.
Okay, but how? What's different about it? It's like I'm taking a famous beat.
No, these are different. They're more maniacal, in my opinion. They're because a mixtape is I take the Wayne beat, like Lil Wayne used to do this. He would take Lil Wayne, Ice Cube goes all the way back to Jackin' for Beats, where you take all these beats and you go and you just make them your own.
You do your own flow, own thing.
Right? Everyone knows, hey, this is Lil Wayne rapping over Grinding by Clips. This is Lil Wayne rapping over a Rick Ross beat. Everybody knows that's that. This is different. This is remake the beat close enough to where people understand that it feels that way, but not close enough to where it's considered plagiarism. Yeah. Then take the melody and take the lyrics from like their lyrics and make them more Christian lyrics. Like it's colonization in a sense. And the reason why, and the thing that makes this bad, people are going to blame the artist, and I do give them a level of blame. But what they're catering to is the emotion that a lot of Christians are like, I can't listen to secular music. I hear this out and about. And now here's the Christian version of that. So you don't have to feel guilty for listening to those types of artists. So because they want to, like, the Christian listener, especially the immature high school, middle school kid who parents don't want them listening to secular music. They're trying really, really hard to stay away from the world. Like, these guys are doing a quote unquote service for them, because it's like, look, we took that and we're going to make your Christian version of it, so you don't feel guilty for listening to Travis Scott or whoever.
So it's just Kids Bop.
That's exactly
kind of,
what it is.
Yeah, Kids Bop. You're right. That's a great way to say this.
Kids Bop, religious Kids Bop. Christ Bop. There we go.
It's Christ Bop. That's what we start calling this, Christ Bop.
That's what it is.
Get the lawyer on the phone right now. Let's copyright that. Christ Bop.
And it's lucrative.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It is, as an independent, it's pretty lucrative if you don't have a lot going on. Like, man, you do that, you go viral. It's like, man, I just redid this thing. Yeah, man.
You could perform it at a church. You could perform it at a youth group, and they will know the difference sometimes. Shout out to Caleb for calling it out, for standing on business.
What I hope is that, this is my hope, and this has always been my thing since I got in the game and after I got, started learning the game, is that the Christian artists, there's enough talent here for us to be the people that people bite.
Yeah.
That's
true. Right. There's a lot of talent.
It's not even just Christian rap. Like, Christian rap is the most easily definable. But I remember that lyric from Flop Era, Marty, that you said, I hate to break it to you, but that's not Hillsong. That's something from Coldplay.
Yeah. And that's the whole point.
That line hits me every time, because I'm like, that's sad, man. Like we making worship songs. That's plagiarism. Like, I just don't know if I don't know if I'm God. I ain't God, but I want something original.
The thing of, like, Christian artists emulating popular trends and sounds is not new. I mean, back in Christian bookstores in the 90s, they would have a poster in the music section. If you like, or
like,
Eminem,
for, like, you'll love KJ5 too.
I hate it.
Yeah. If you like this, you'll like that. Right. So that's not new. But I think what's new, or at least what's happening with, like, this playlist, is like, this isn't like, oh, I like trap music, so I'm going to do Christian trap. Or I'm like, it's not that. Yeah. It's literally the exact song being ripped off. I mean, it is plagiarism. It's crazy.
You like Michelle Branch, you're going to love Stacey Orico. I'm sorry.
I remember that back in the day.
And they were right.
That's true.
You love Alanis Morissette, you're going to love Jackie Velasquez,
Yeah. All right. Well, we have a great show in store for you today. Coming up later, we have Rend Collective. They have a new album coming out. You don't want to miss that. At the end of the show, we have a little round of table topics. We haven't done it in a while. I got the cards in my hand. Here we go. And stay tuned. Right now, up next, it's Slices.
Baby, just keep on loving me like you do.
You're listening to Balu Brigada. The song is Designer. Well, today's show is brought to you in part by World Vision. We all subscribe to a lot of services that make our lives easier and more entertaining. But as followers of Jesus, we should want to seek first the kingdom of God in all areas of life, including our spending. That's why I'm so excited about a new kind of subscription through World Vision. Not one for myself, but for others. It's called Believers for World Change. And when you sign up, you're joining a community of change makers working to help end extreme poverty around the world and here at home. World Vision is a Christian humanitarian organization that works with children, families, and communities to reach their God-given potential, focusing on things like gender equality, spiritual nurture, and access to clean water, education, job training, and healthcare, so the entire picture of poverty can be addressed. Let's subscribe to something new together. Subscribe to World Change today at worldvision.org. Again, that's worldvision.org. Okay, it's time for
Slices.
What do you have, Emily?
Really quick, I actually want to give an update on a slice I brought a few weeks ago because I did have someone reach out to ask if we could talk about it. In case anyone hadn't heard, Lana Del Rey did marry that alligator tour guide.
I wanted to know about that.
They got married.
And they got married this past weekend.
It's wild.
Yeah, if you didn't know, she was dating an alligator tour guide for about a month. And now they're married.
Okay, first of all, they're not alligator tours. It's an airboat tour guide. He drives.
Is that better?
Airboats.
He owns the company. Just kidding.
No, I don't know that he does, but he's an airboat tour guide, and they look at alligators when they're on the airboat.
Okay, sorry, that's significantly better than what I said.
It's going to be a crazy album rollout.
I feel like she does stuff like this just
too.
for content. Remember, like a year ago, she showed up in Alabama working at a Waffle House for a few days.
It was a video
I think
later.
She's just like, I live in this LA bubble. I want to go experience this other side for content. I really think. And then she fell in love.
Yeah,
she
she joined a biker gang for Ride. Like, she's always doing something that connects to the music somehow.
She is committing to the bit, and I have to respect it.
Mm-hmm. But she does have a pattern of liking blue collar guys. She wrote a whole album about that cop in Tulsa that she dated and then broke up with, So who knows?
Anyways,
I'm normal, guys, just like you.
Yeah.
She's doing something original. I'll give her that. Anyways, okay. Really quick, I do want to talk about Dallas Jenkins from The Chosen announced that they are making an official Chosen cinematic universe.
It's up.
Wow.
Which is like...
It's called the Bible.
It's up.
Isn't it?
It's called Veggie Tales.
Run it back.
Well, they are making an animated series about Jesus teaching a group of children called The Chosen Adventures. They're also doing a series on the book of Acts and possibly even Moses. But there's one specifically that I want to talk about, which is The Chosen in the Wild, which is where Dallas Jenkins and a few other members of The Chosen are going to team up with Bear Grylls to go on outdoor survival challenges.
Oh, no, we're jumping the shark, guys.
Now this is
We're jumping the
Survivor.
shark.
Yeah, this is Survivor now. This is Survivor. This is not
They've
biblical.
made too much money.
That was the one where I was like, I was with you when we're making the stories about Jesus, about the apostles.
We were following you guys when the cameras weren't as good. Now they're 4K. Things have changed.
It's up. Look, y'all. This was about to happen. They're gonna do that, and then they're gonna do the book. They're gonna do the Book of Judges. The Book of Judges is gonna be like Marvel. It's gonna be like a Marvel cinematic thing. It's like Gideon.
It's gonna be on the OWN network with Oprah,
bro. I'm trying to.
No, I was hoping they were gonna do like a Judge Judy thing, and they just bring in judges.
I don't know, guys. We might have to sell our stock. I don't know.
Oh, no.
We might have to sell our stock because I think they're jumping the shark. If we're doing the Bear Grylls thing, we're jumping the shark.
You know where they announced this, don't you? They announced it last week at Chosen Con. They have a fan convention every year. 5,000 people showed up here in Orlando. 5,000 people at the Marriott World Center and conference center. And that's where they announced it.
It was sponsored by America's News Network, OAN, right?
The Rural American News or whatever. The Rural American News.
Skillet was headlining.
They did have some artists perform. I think Phil Wickham was there.
Phil
Wickham was there.
I rock with Phil.
I almost went because I know Dallas, but I mean, I almost went because I was like, what do you do at a Chosen Con?
Yeah,
like,
what do you do?
How do you fill a day?
The gift
you know what I mean?
bags.
It was like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like I was curious. Like, what do you do at a Chosen Con?
Yeah.
But
no, Chosen's expanding. And like, I mean, genuinely like great for them that they are doing this. But when I saw the Bear Grylls thing, I said, oh, hang on a second. Where are we going with this? Cause it's like, that's not
too
where
much
I thought
money.
we were going. But
Dallas, abandon ship on the Bear Grylls thing, bro. I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. Like I rock with you, but I rock with you, dog. I love what you've been doing, but we gotta abandon ship. I love Bear Grylls too, but I just don't want to see the challenge, bro.
Do you think that Mel Gibson, he waited 20 something years to give us a sequel to The Passion of the Christ? Do you think he's looking at all the money that The Chosen has made,
Without
thinking
a doubt.
that
You read my mind,
I missed
Cam.
my
You read my
Without a
mind.
doubt.
Yeah.
But he's been trying to
like-
do that. But Mel's been trying to do this for a minute. I just don't think maybe even the people that would fund the film weren't even interested until the success of Chosen.
The
You know what I'm
level
saying?
of Chosen, people love it so much. I mean, it's Facebook everywhere. It's crazy.
yeah.
The connection to Bear, just FYI, he's really, he's a leader in the Alpha movement, the discipleship curriculum out of Holy Trinity Brompton and there in London. So he's like a global spokesperson and advocate for Alpha. So he's the one who's been discipling Russell Brand. I mean, the dude is like out there, like really doing this thing. And he's been hosting the after show, like when The Chosen would air. Bear Grylls was hosting the after show on YouTube or whatever. So he's been connected for a while.
Yeah.
I rock with it, but give him a cameo. Make him John the Baptist. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's the wild man. Make him John the Baptist.
That would actually be a really good one.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, don't do the game show or the survival show. Like,
and I'm going to go the opposite and say we need more of this.
Yeah. Who wants to marry a disciple?
You didn't do The Bachelor, like The Bachelor in Paradise, but it's Bachelor in Bible Times. Okay.
Just a bunch of like Middle Eastern guys.
Honestly, I think a lot of Christian people would sign up for a Christian version of The Bachelor.
We need, actually, it's a great show to have a Christian dating show and just air it raw. Like, like, hey, all these guys are supposed to be Christian. Air it raw. Air it how it's supposed to be.
I think that would actually do a lot of damage for the church.
Preachers of LA. It'd be preachers of LA for don't do it.
They had a Christian dating show. Natalie Grant was the host. It was on one.
I was going to say, I think there was one. Wasn't it something like dating?
What was this? What was the
TV?
No. The
there was GMT, like gospel music.
GMT. It was on GMT. That's it. It was gospel music television, and then now they're just
hey guys, guess what? Is that another ripoff? Since we've been on ripoffs today,
100%.
Is doing a Christian dating show, is that a ripoff?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
So all right? Let's. All right, before we do the next slice, I don't know if we have time for this. I think I'm having an existential crisis.
Okay, hold on. Okay, heard the show was called "It Takes a Church."
I remember that.
The church voted
the church picked
for
a
like
single person.
Yes,
they love these disability shows, man. Love Island, Love is Blind, Love on the. They just love these.
Is there anything creatively that Christians have done that's original?
Saving the world.
Relevant magazine.
The Bible.
I see it, bro.
The Word of God.
This is the most depressing show I've been a part of. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, it wasn't on GMT. It was on GSN, the game show network. It was, It Takes a Church.
I think they did air it on GMT because I do remember watching that channel quite a lot growing up.
So Emily, your slice is there's a Bear Grylls Chosen spinoff in production right now.
Yeah, and I think that's really funny. And while I'm not continue to make the stuff about the disciples and Jesus, Dallas, but feel free to have fun and go wild, no pun intended, with whatever you want to make.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
All right, what do you have, Derek?
A headache, but besides that, in the first half of the 80s, there was 146 bands that were competing for that were number one in UK as far as like music is concerned. In the 90s, there was 141. Today, there's 3. So the music band is dying. No one is starting bands now, and I don't know why.
I think there was 0 on the Billboard Top 200. I think there was 0.
There's 0 on the Top 200.
It's just solo artists.
It's just everybody is a solo artist. Everybody is selfish. Nobody wants to thug it out in a van together and share pizza and do music anymore.
Why do you think that is?
And that's sad.
It makes sense because there was a shift. I was watching this thing the other day where Maroon 5 was how Maroon 5 was a band, and then they also talked about One Republic, how they're bands, but because these lead singers are so powerful, they stand out, and people are like, oh, I didn't know you were a band. That song with the Timbaland, Too Late, Apologize. Yeah. When the band would show up places, it'd be like, oh, I thought you were, first off, I thought you were black. And then secondly, I didn't know you were a band. I thought you were, like this idea of a band, it almost feels like now we could outsource because like even for Maroon 5, like, yeah, they were a real band. And then, Adam Levine Starstruck hits the world, becomes the most popular singers in the world. And it's like, do you need the band? No one even knows their name. It's a weird situation. So I think that's because of like pop culture and.
Yeah, but you can't. My thing is you can't skip steps though. Like it's inevitable for the lead singer or the star to go solo. Like Beyonce, like, you know what I'm saying? Like to me, that's inevitable. But I think the having the band all together, or Justin Timberlake with NSYNC, like, it's gonna happen. Omarion with B2K, like, it happens. But I feel like we're trying to skip steps here.
Is there a difference between a band and a group though? Because like I would think like a group, like a K-pop would be like a group. Destiny's Child would be a group, but they're not a band. They have a band behind them.
Green Day is a band, and then
is a band. They play the instruments and write the music together.
K-pop group.
In my mind, the only time you're gonna see a band is usually in rock music. You just don't really, or rock or something along those lines. But the Roots, that's mostly electronic, right? But even when we think about the Roots, their music, the whole thing about them, they were a hip hop group that didn't really have electronic instruments. But when most of the music is very synth heavy and all those different things, you're just not going to have a lot of bands where the one guy plays one instrument or one lady plays one instrument or whatever. So I think when I consider band, I just think it's a group of people that fill different voids within the whole. There's the lead, then there's the other pieces to it.
Yeah, they're really, as we were talking about this, the only bands I can think of that are still like somewhat evenly split is like, I would say the 1975 is still a band. Wallows, there's 3 guys there that I would say are still a band, but like they're not huge. Like there's no one that's huge that's also a band.
Yeah, there's indie bands, but there's not Billboard Top 200 bands.
And so I think what we're getting at is that we should bring back boy bands like One Direction. I'm fully in on this message. I've been saying this for years.
We need to bring back organic music and
more boy bands.
One Direction.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, tech has made it where, in the past, if the reason you would have all these different people play all these different instruments is because it would be hard to get a good guitar lick or guitar line from somebody who's not a great guitar player. Yeah. But now one producer can go source all these different instruments.
Play it on your computer. I can play it.
Or you could get a loop and edit it and things like that. So I think that's the big issue is that tech again has changed the music industry for the better or for the worse. It's changed.
Yeah, I don't think it's going back.
No, I mean,
unless it's like a vinyl resurgence where there's like an analog independent undercurrent trying to do something different. The pendulum will swing, but. All right. What's your slice, Marty? What do you have?
Real quick. All right. So Gen Z rejoice. What's up, guys? I got to start off like that, though. What's up, guys? Gen Z rejoice. Tamagotchis are back. So if you don't remember what a Tamagotchi is, it's a little oval shaped keychain that you would have a little character that you raise. You give it food. You see it get older. You see it go from an egg to hatching. It becomes this whole process. So Tamagotchis, which were popular in the 90s, have had this huge resurgence. Actually, in the last 2 years, they've sold more Tamagotchis than they've ever sold, to the point where Namco, they actually started a brick and mortar store where you can physically get Tamagotchis because they're just so popular in London right now, across the globe. So they brought updates to them. So if you are into Tamagotchis, they have updates now. You can hook on Wi-Fi. You could buy things. They've changed the whole method, and apparently it's becoming a very, very big thing. And I could attest this because our generation, we love nostalgia. We love nostalgia. I just was on TikTok Shop, and I bought this portable PlayStation 2 video game device because I wanted to play games from 2000, 2005. We will pay for nostalgia. So if you are into Tamagotchis, you might want to grab it quick. They're flying off the shelf. And people are getting really excited to raise these little pocket monsters.
I never had a Tamagotchi, but my friend Joanna did. And sometimes when we were in school, she would let me play with it. And so I would have to take care of it. And I would I was in 4th grade, but I was I have to care for this little weird digital animal pet thing. But I took it so seriously. I was a mother.
So it's equivalent to home ec when they give you a fake baby or an egg to take
flower
home.
Baby.
Remember that?
Yeah.
You're I gotta take it. And it could just tell if you threw it on the floor. It could tell if you threw it out the car window. I had to take that. I remember giving the baby to a girl in the class and being my baby will die if I take it home. Can you raise it? And she raised my baby for me. I gave her $10. That was high school in a nutshell.
That's called being smart.
Yeah, and then the dolls became like very expensive. People lost one, and they're like 13 grand. So then they would give you eggs. So in high school, they started giving eggs, and I'm like, as soon as I break it, I can just grab another egg, and whatever.
100%.
I had a flower baby that I had to carry around, and I was always like, if something happens, I can just go buy another thing of flour.
Yeah,
like,
I'll buy a new flour. Yeah, give me a McDonald's cheeseburger,
but I took care of mine because I'm a good mother.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I took fine care of it.
Emily's very
no
responsible. All right, that'll do it for Slices. There you go. Make sure to check out relevantmagazine.com every day. We are covering the intersection of faith, culture, and everything in between. All right, stay tuned. Up next, Rend Collective joins us.
Don't wanna waste my time since you've been on my mind. I just wanna.
You're listening to Kali. The song is I Just Wanna. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Worth, a one-day worship and theology conference hosted by Matt Redman and featuring top theologians and songwriters at Wheaton College in Illinois on October 26th. Worship leaders and songwriters will be inspired to fight for biblical, relevant, and poetic worship during the seminars. Following the conference will be a night of worship with some of the best songwriters of the church, including Matt, Leland, Charity Gale, and more. You don't want to miss this event? Get your tickets now at worthworship.com. Today's podcast is also brought to you in part by the new book, Counting Miracles. One miracle might change 3 lives forever. From Nicholas Sparks, author of A Walk to Remember and The Notebook, Counting Miracles is an emotional novel about second chances. It follows Tanner, a former Army Ranger searching for his father, Caitlin, a doctor balancing work and family, and Jasper, an elderly man facing personal tragedy. As their paths cross, none expect a miracle, but it may change their futures forever. A story of redemption and belonging, Counting Miracles is available wherever books are sold. Well, our guest today is Chris Llewellyn from Rend Collective. You know the folk worship band from their songs like Build Your Kingdom Here and Joy of the Lord, which you can check out on our YouTube channel, which you should. But these days, the band wants to shake up the worship industry complex, as Chris puts it, by pushing the boundaries of what worship can and should be. Chris opened up to us about why he wants to try something different and how he's found a renewed sense of identity and purpose as a worship leader. Here is our conversation with Rend Collective.
Well, you just dropped some new music over the weekend, including a song called Holy Trouble. And I got to ask, what exactly is Holy Trouble?
Yeah, so actually, that's the kind of song that started with the title. It was really inspired by there's an idea that the civil rights activist John Lewis put forward. There's a sentence that he talks about getting in good trouble, and that just really felt to me like the message of Jesus, because there's always like this tension inside the Christian story of the version of Jesus that sits at tables with everybody, like from religious professionals right through to sex workers, right through to literally anybody you can name, and is that gentle, powerful but gentle and mild Jesus. That is a real thing. That's part of the scripture, but it's a tension with the same Jesus that gets arrested, gets crucified by the state, has a political edge to him, like that feels uncomfortable. And I suppose the song is a little bit about the wrestling that I even had of trying to work out if, like, is worship music so small that we can't sing about this, or can I take a risk and we can sing about this side of Jesus too and worship a bit more of a 3-dimensional Jesus?
What are some areas in our world that could use some holy trouble?
Yeah, to tell the truth, I prefer to live at the 30,000 foot level. And what I feel like I want the song to do is invite people to do that for themselves. So if I spell it out, I feel like I've done it wrong. Like the kind of Christian movies where the plot line tells you exactly what you were supposed to think the whole time, like hold your hand and like, and then everybody got saved. And that's kind of, it's okay, but it's not the hope. I don't think of, I guess what I'm hoping for whenever I write a song is that maybe it would like provoke a really good line of questioning rather than give somebody a specific action point. I feel like that's the part of Christian art that's missing, is just provoking and letting people, giving people the dignity of drawing their own conclusions and walking away and doing something interesting with that. So I feel like if I listed off a ton of causes, it would strip that dignity away a little bit.
As the deer pants for water, my soul waits for authentic.
I actually really appreciate the response. So let me ask you this instead. Why do you think the justice side of Jesus isn't something we explore a lot in worship?
Well, probably because of the worship industrial complex. If I'm honest, yeah, I think people respond really well. I remember I was introduced to statistics when I first started Christian music that kind of horrified me back then, that people were thinking like this. But familiarity is actually one of the things that helps a Christian song to rise to the top. And so it was always encouraged to Christian songwriters to stick with the familiar, because it'll make your songs test better at radio. And I think sometimes we find ourselves in the trap of just saying inside cycles of saying the same things, because those same things become cozy. It's a little bit like, we watch the same Christmas movies every Christmas, and if we bring a new one into the mix, it's kind of hard to introduce it. Just because I think we have such a love for the familiar, and I think the worship industrial complex likes to keep. It would rather bring out Avengers 9 than bring out a new product.
Do you ever feel that pressure, though, to follow a formula and do something people consider familiar?
Oh my goodness, yes. That would be totally lying if I didn't say it. I've fallen foul of it too. Like we have bowed to that pressure, because it's so scary to do something different, and it's our livelihood mixed up with our faith, mixed up with the human desire to just have people pat you on the back and tell you you're a nice guy. So yeah, I felt that pressure, and I think the thing that has absolutely rescued us from it is middle age. I can't tell you how much less I care about what people think of me now. When we first started out, I was so just really wanted to be liked. I wanted to be a good boy, and I wanted everybody to cheer me on in that. And I think a great thing about growing up, about experiencing a few hard things in your life, is the realization that life's just too short for that. And also, the Bible's better than that, and our audience deserves more than that too. The audience doesn't exist to prop up the artist. That isn't how it works. The artist exists to serve the audience and give the audience respect. And I think that's what I think maybe in this late stage, well, hopefully it's not the late stage, but it's 10, 15 years into our career, I just really want to serve up something that feels like it's really substantial and treats the audience with respect.
In my troubled sea, whoa, you are the peace in my
That actually segues really well into another song you released, which is What I Was Made For. The song really goes deep into identity and purpose, and I'm curious, what was going through your own head when you wrote that song?
Yeah, actually, to be totally vulnerable about it, I think the thing that was going on was I was trying to work out if I should remain involved in worship music. It's a tough thing to find yourself, again, 10, 15 years into your career, and you're wondering, do I still have anything relevant, no pun intended, to bring to the world? Is my best stuff behind me? Is it time to hang this up? And for me, the song was just a reminder that and a really sweet reminder. I can picture myself in the exact part of Nashville I was driving around at the time when I got the idea. But it's just this reminder that, well, this is what I'm made for. It doesn't matter if it's a career. It doesn't matter if it's my job or whatever. On a like atomic cellular level, this is what I'm designed for. It's to like vibrate to the cosmos and to God and to Jesus' work and the Gospels. That I'll always be responding to that. So might as well do it publicly.
You are my light, my lighthouse, shining in the darkness.
I think it's safe to say most people will wrestle with identity and purpose throughout their life. Do you have any advice for someone who's currently struggling with that?
Wow. I actually think one of the most beautiful things in terms of identity is the recognition that so early in the story, God declares us good. I think that's a great starting point. I think sometimes we get caught up in the idea that God doesn't like us or love us the way that we are, and that we're starting off from a place where we're already in debt somehow, and we have to like fight to uncover a good purpose because we're so innately bad. And of course we do bad things. You read the news, humans do bad things. But I think starting from a place of recognizing that, well, for me, I can only speak for me, can't I? That when I recognize that God made me and God thought that I was good, that there's something innately good in me, there's something innately image of God in me, that helps me to uncover the story of who I am.
That was Chris Llewellyn from Rend Collective. Check out their new music wherever you listen, and be sure to check them out on their Feel Good Folk Tour, which kicks off this week. All right, stay tuned. Up next is Table Topics.
I'm living in these moments that I pray for, standing in the purpose I was made for. I'm just walking in the hands of the Lord. Give me more, give me more, give me more. You went undercover with your grace. Detective, how you found me in my shame, but you didn't give me over to my chain. You arrested me with love, then you sentenced me to change. Mugshot looking different.
You're listening to Young Chris, Don Reddy, and Breno. The song is God's Hands.
Hi, my name is Peter, and I'm a prophet in the new novel, American Prophet. I was the one who dreamed about the natural disaster just before it happened. Oh, and the pandemic. And that crazy election. And don't get me wrong, I'm not bragging. It's not like I asked for the job. Actually, no one would ask for this job. At least half the people will hate whatever I say, and almost everyone thinks I'm a little crazy. Getting a date is next to impossible. I've got a radio host who is making up conspiracies about me, a dude actually shooting at me, and an unhinged president threatening me. But the job isn't all that bad. I've gotten to see the country and meet some really interesting people and hopefully do some good along the way. You can find my story on Amazon, Audible, or iTunes. Just look for American Prophet by Jeff Fulmer. That's American Prophet by Jeff Fulmer.
Okay, Table Topics. I'm going to do a jingle. Here it is.
It's table topics, it's table topics,
All right, so all it is literally I have a stack of Table Topics cards, and I'm just going to ask you guys some random questions. Here we go. If you could change places with anyone, who would you choose?
My wife.
I'd change places with Elon Musk, and I'd give Twitter back to Jack, and then I'd change places back to Derek.
Do you see? I read like tech and finance stuff every day. Twitter Fidelity Investments is the bank that helped Elon buy Twitter, and they have a stake. And in their new financial report, they had to disclose all of their holdings.
They getting cooked.
Dude. So this is the first time we've seen the actual decline of the value of Twitter since Elon has bought it. It is down 79%.
Wow.
There's
It makes sense. He's trying to make it a news site now.
79%. So they had to disclose that they spent X amount on Twitter, and their investment is now worth 21%.
Wow. They should get rid of him then. Why can they get rid of him as like those company?
No, it's privately owned. It's privately owned. He owns the majority stake. It's not a publicly traded company. It's his company. He just has some minority investors. So he'll be there. He's going to ride it to the ground. Emily, who do you want to change places with?
I was thinking probably some Nepo baby. Like I was thinking about like Sofia Coppola's daughter. Remember when she made that video last year? She was like 16 and she was like, make pasta with me while I tell you why I got grounded because I chartered a helicopter for my friends. And it's like,
oh, that's crazy.
I'd love that. That's like my life is that I'm 16.
Sophia, the great granddaughter?
Yeah. She's a director.
She did that?
No.
The director.
Sophia's the director. And then she's married to the guy from that band, Phoenix or something like that. Anyways, they have a kid together and she's like 16 and she made this video that went really viral where she was like, I can't believe I got grounded for chartering a helicopter. And I'm like, I would love to do that. So,
one of the worst actresses ever in general, just to let you know. Like absolutely one of the worst actresses.
She did her best.
If you see Godfather 3, obviously he put his daughter in because it's his daughter. She was not ready. Now director, she's incredible. I love her direction.
Yes.
She actually directed a couple
Sophia
like really
Coppola.
Yeah.
Okay. Did she do the Virgin Suicides?
She did.
She did another movie also where like this famous guy is stuck in LA and he finds out he's a daughter. She has like all these like little indie movies that are incredible. And then her acting is just atrocious. And shout out to Melanopolis, whatever, it's out today.
Megalopolis. We
all got to see that together and give commentary. 4-hour movie.
I mean, literally, like Francis and Adam Driver did an interview over the weekend, and they were saying, this is going to be like Apocalypse Now, where you guys won't get it right now, but later you'll realize it's genius. They're already saying you're going to hate it.
There's some scenes that they released that people are like, wow, okay.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Okay, if you could be the best at any game, which would you choose?
Basketball.
Because
I feel like you could do a pickup any day, any place, and play with somebody. And sometimes, I wish I could really play basketball well. I'm terrible at it, but I sometimes wish that I could just dunk it. I want to know what it feels like to dunk. You know?
Yeah, I'm already the best at that, so I had to pick something different.
Dang. Okay.
Let me think.
There goes my dream.
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I think I'll just.
He's just say.
We'll just double down on basketball. Let's do that.
Shocking. Don't want to pick a sport. My first thought was
it's a game.
Yeah, my first thought was like a board.
Tamagotchis.
No, it was like a board game, like Monopoly or something, which I think would be
Just
fun.
dominate.
But I also think I'd rather be good at like a game show, like
it's a good one.
Big Brother or something. I'll pick that.
Oh, did y'all
That's
see
not
the
even
guy
like
who
a
gamed
game.
the system on Whammy? You remember the show Whammy?
No.
No.
Where you run a game and it would blink on all this stuff, and if you get hit with a whammy, you lose all your money, but you could just keep going over and over again. Like, it was really big in the 90s. Well, this guy, I think he won like 6 figures off of the game because he watched from home and he saw a certain tell that he'd get certain money. It's the craziest thing in the world.
Whammy on Price is Right?
It's not Price is Right. It was a game show very similar to that. But it was like Whammy. It was like this little red devil looking thing. And you get 3 Rammies and whammies and it would get you out. This guy is... I would take him to any casino with me because he literally was just watching all of the tells on the show and made 6 figures off of it.
He's
That's
the
how people
Rain
on,
Man
like-
version of
Rain Man
Whammy.
of games.
That's how people on Jeopardy would get like a lot of money because they will watch the show and they would like. There's a lot of the people who are like the all-time best winners. They'll tell you like, I watched it and I knew if I ask these questions first, I can get this most money. And like if bet, like they have like game strategies.
It was called Pressure Luck. That was the name of the game. Pressure Luck, and the guy, it's a whole story on this guy who's a cheater. He's like a legend. His name's Mike Larson. He won $110,000 on Pressure Luck.
There's a documentary about a guy who was a super fan of Price is Right, made a spreadsheet, documented every price for every package, every product over every episode. And then he goes on Price is Right and knew every price and nailed it, won everything. There's a whole documentary about it. It's amazing.
For some reason, he didn't work from the hours of 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for some reason.
Yeah,
because that's the only way you could know this is that you don't have a job in the morning. You get in late to your job. You have to get in late.
All right. Which is your favorite cartoon character?
Bart Simpson.
Really?
Yeah, I always loved The Simpsons. Huge fan. My parents were at one point were like, you're not allowed to watch this because I would imitate him as a kid and like pull my pants down to my teacher and ride a skateboard through the school. Like literally would do exactly what he did. Like there are many situations.
You're the reason why I wasn't allowed to watch it because my mom thought he would be a bad influence.
Focus on the Family did a whole thing about my life as a kid. So
I'm going Riley from the Boondocks.
Riley's great.
Yeah, Riley's crazy.
Riley's great.
Can we go back to real quick? Did
Focus
that
on
really
the Family
happen,
did a
Marty?
whole thing. Focus on the Family did a whole thing about how kids are wayward because of Bart Simpson, and I was mentioned in the article in like the 90s. Seriously, because I got in trouble. I pulled my pants down. I was like 5. I know because Bart Simpson did it. Like okay, and I'll tell you exactly the episode. There was an episode where he pisses off Australia. And because he calls Australia to find out if they flush the toilet goes a different direction than America. Long story short, they go, we want an apology. If you don't give an apology, we're going to kick you in the butt. That's what we want. So he pulls down his pants and he shows off his butt. Many situations where Bart Simpson would show off his butt, and I would do it all the time because of Bart Simpson. I thought it was the funniest thing. And my boys in school, they thought it was funny too because they were like, Martin, do it now. There's a substitute teacher. Like figure it out. Do it in front of the girls. And I would, as a kindergarten, I would do it.
Last one. When you were a kid, did you ever think your parents had left you behind anywhere?
All the time, man. All the time.
My parents actually did
intentionally,
twice,
though. Yeah, my parents did intentionally.
Intentionally
Mine
left
was
you
like,
behind?
Yeah. They're like, just go, just leave. Go, 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 go. They said that quietly. Go, go, go.
Emily, did you ever think your parents left you?
No, my parents were quite attentive. I don't think I ever thought.
You're also the girl. It's different for boys. Like my dad, like if he's not in the car, we're leaving. And guess what? Me, Cam, and Derek got left behind because we were trying to finish a level of a video game.
No, my parents literally left me at a gas station on purpose.
Oh,
like they made me chase the car
on purpose.
They made me chase the car because that was taking too long. My stepdad was brutal. He was.
Why do they
crazy.
always want to teach us those lessons? Why do they always want to teach? Like, hey, you're not in the car. I mean, I'm going to speed off with that. Why? That's not a good lesson to learn.
My stepdad traumatized me.
I think I had a pretty trauma-free childhood, so I did not get left behind anywhere. But I did have a friend. She was the middle of 7 kids. She got left behind quite a few places, which was surprising because I will say she was the loudest one, and so I was really surprised that they forgot her. But like, they left her at a donut shop. They left her at a gas station. Left her, I think, at
7
the
kids. You got to figure.
They call that
but it was
McAllister.
our youth pastor and his family, so it was like, oh, you probably should be able to keep track of kids if you're a youth pastor.
I was an only child until almost high school, and my parents left. You think you can keep track of one kid,
yeah.
But if they're both driving to the restaurant separately, they would think that the other parent had me. They would get to the restaurant and realize they left me at the last location. This happened many times. So,
I like the pity card. I like the pity card when they leave and they feel bad on the way home and like, Martin, and they're like, are you Lorenzo? Because my middle name's Lorenzo. You okay? And I'm like, I'm so hungry. I was reading the Bible and you guys interrupted me. You know, like
your parents was different than mine. That ain't getting
suburban
life. That ain't getting off with
my
country
dad
black
didn't
parents.
care. My mom, she cared. My mom, Italian. Well, I'm the only boy. She was like, "Oh, my son." My dad was like, "Leave him. He'll be fine." You know,
he'll be fine. He'll figure
My
it
mom's
out.
like, "Boy, what I tell you when you get in this store, you're supposed to stand next to me." Like it's just
It's your fault that you got left behind.
It's your fault.
Yeah,
absolutely. Without a doubt, for sure.
Dude, one of the most formative things I remember reading Richard Branson's autobiography, the founder of Virgin. He's one of my business heroes, and he said when he was 6, the way his mom would toughen him up is that she would drive him to the other side of their town, and at 6 years old, drop him on a street corner and drive off, and then she'd just go home. He's like, I would have to figure out how to get home, and he's like, one day I got home. I walked in the kitchen and she's cooking dinner and she just said, you know, like act like nothing happened. And he's like, I was like walking the streets of our town for like 9 hours just to find my way home. And she's like,
that's crazy.
Can I
He was like-
retroactively
he was
call
like-
CPS on a parent, even though
that's what I'm saying. Back in the day, they did parenting tactics that would not be legal today.
He walked
but,
in, she
yeah.
started clapping. You did it.
No, didn't acknowledge that it was anything out of the
wow.
ordinary. It was just, oh, hey, dinner will be ready in 10 minutes, sort of a thing.
Nah,
You know?
look.
Was he from London? Was he from?
No, it wasn't London. It was a smaller town outside of London. But I mean, still, a 6-year-old
it's
kid.
crazy.
You know?
It's insane.
I had a dude that went to my school. He said, "You want to know how I learned to swim? How? My dad just took me and tossed me in the lake and said, make it to the shore."
Wow.
100%.
I was like, "What
And
in
that's
the
why that
world
guy's brain
is going
damaged.
on?"
I would
And
never do that to my
guy's
flower
he's
baby
a
that I had
police
in high
officer
school.
now.
Yeah, it makes.
You never did that to your flower baby,
No,
Emily?
my flower baby.
I threw my-
I would never even think about throwing
She
my
threw
flower
her
baby
egg
into
in
the water.
bath. It was hard boiled.
It reminds me of a meme where it's like it says that the first part of the meme is like parents in the 90s is like, are the kids fed? Do they have clothes or whatever? And then it's like parents in 2024, and it's like this long list of things. Am I over parenting? Am I being nice? Am I setting them up for
That's us.
success?
That's me and
it's
my
like
wife right
that's
now.
us. We're like,
That's me and my wife right now.
Oh my God, was I
Are we
too? Did I
babying them too
discipline them
much?
too hard?
Yeah.
Did I babies? Yeah. Woof.
Do we feed them too much?
When did beating stop? Like spankings and stuff? Because I was raised on spankings, and
yeah,
I've
me
never
too.
hit my son ever.
First off, I don't
Like-
appreciate the O's that Emily does when something's like controversial. She goes, "Oh."
Oh.
Like, you notice that, Cam? Whenever you say
fair,
anything
I
a little
actually can't
controversial,
help- I can't
whenever
help myself.
Cameron says anything with she's like, "Oh, oh, oh."
But for real, like, when did it stop?
You're right.
I think, did our generation just say, yeah, I'm not going to pass that on?
I think
You
it
know
was
what I
like
mean?
late 2000s.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
cause
it was
so
like,
I'll be,
nah,
I got
that's
spanked,
good.
but only like a handful of times. And it was when I was like the few, like my parents would tell me when they spanked me, and I'd be like, okay, I get why you did that. Like, it wasn't like a lot.
I remember my last spanking. Do you remember your last one? Like, how old were you?
100%. I do.
I remember
100%
it.
do.
was
I
probably
got
like
hit with
6
a
or
wooden
7.
stick. I got hit with a wooden stick, and it broke on my back. And my mom was like, "Man, maybe I should stop this now." Actually, that's looked pretty traumatizing.
My parents, depending on the degree of trouble I was in, would be how far down the pants had to come, how big the belt
wow.
was, you know.
Oh, wow.
And so the worst was pants all the way down, and the belt would get the upper thigh, not the butt. The butt had resistance or not as many nerve endings. The upper thigh, woo. I remember I was 12 years old and I was getting the upper thigh beating, and I didn't cry. I just looked back at my parent like with
on
dead
Glory. You
eyes.
talking about like on Glory?
One
Denzel
teardrop falling?
When Denzel was
Dude.
getting beat, yeah.
Dude, that's what I did. And they stopped spanking me with the belt after that. I did get beat after that. My mom shattered a plastic sword of the spirit on me one day when
wow.
I was mouthing off. My little brother had a sword of the, body armor of Christ or whatever.
yeah.
And all she could find was the sword and just hit me so hard. It just like shattered all over me. I was like 16 that time.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. There was a principal at this is how far back and how old I am. There was a principal that would
They
spank.
spanked at my school too.
So they try to do that to me.
Emily is over here traumatized.
Yeah,
Look,
they
the
try
look
to-
on
I'm
Emily's
stressed.
face.
I'm really stressed.
I wish we had the video right now for where Emily is at. This she's stressed.
They try to do that to me, and my dad found out. And my dad, I remember what happened. This scenario was really bad. I did something really, really, really bad. And I remember my dad going to school. The principal was going to spank me. My mom worked at school. She's like, "You don't touch him." And my dad came, and I remember he took the principal in the office. And he came out in 5 minutes. So it says my dad was like super happy. Let's go. But the principal's face was so red, and like he either got spooked or he got like. But they stopped spanking kids after my dad had that conversation with them. But I remember
Good.
his face being beat red. This white guy, his face being beat red and super ashamed. And my dad be like, "All right, let's go to McDonald's." Like he was so happy on the way out. So I'm pretty sure my dad like maybe smacked him in the face a couple times. I'm dead serious. My dad did. My dad's like, "Listen, you have 2 options here. Option 1, you're not leaving this office. You can't leave." And option, so my dad's scared. But I remember he had this thing too on top of his like some what's that one movie, Shawshank Redemption? He had this like board, and it had scriptures on it, and he would smack kids with this
paddle
board.
board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
In a Christian school, smack kids. And then when it came to me,
Same.
everything changed.
You broke the system.
My dad might have broke the board. I wouldn't be surprised if he broke it over his face. My dad was a real tough guy, so he loved to, and he was like, where do you get this disdain for authority? I'm like, you, Dad, you taught me how to do this. I showed my butt to the principal because of Simpsons. I saw my uncle beat up a guy on a cruise boat. I know, I grew up around this. I don't explain to you.
Well, there you go. Well, that went in a direction I didn't expect table topics to go.
That's trauma sharing, trauma dumping. Sorry, Emily.
I just can't imagine my poor flower baby somewhere just is probably weeping. It's just.
I'm calling CPS on our parents right now.
I will.
Hey,
I'll do it.
They're going.
Did you have to go pick out your own switch? Before the beating?
Definitely. That was it.
And if you came back with a weak switch, the beating was going to be way worse.
Oh, yeah.
So you had to go with a prime switch. Yeah.
That's
Emily, a switch is
that was whooping
stick.
enough. Like, I don't know, like our parents is like, do you know how traumatizing that is to be like, yo, pick out the instrument of your destruction. Like, I don't need anything else after
Never
that.
did that one.
That's crazy.
My dad just used his hand, but my dad's a big guy. So like he's strong. And so even like a hit from it, like that was enough for my
leather
self
belts
to
for
never
me.
do the
Leather
thing that I
belts.
did again.
Whatever my mom was cooking, she would just throw it at me. She was using a wooden spoon. She'd throw it on my back.
I do remember one time my mom spanked me, and I think I kind of giggled because it wasn't really that bad. And she was like, "Well, now your father's going to spank you when you get home." So that was tough.
Yeah, my parents would hand off. I was more scared of my mom. Yeah, I was more scared of my mom than my dad, to be honest with you. It was my dad, that last spanking, where I just looked back at him defiantly, like, you're not going to break me. You know what I mean?
At the end of this, we're all going to cry together. So thank you for being here on the Relevant podcast. And
Emily's like crawled under her desk at this point.
She's like remembering the times. It's just personal things going on.
No,
Happy thoughts.
I'm fine. I'm dead for y'all.
I know. This was great. I had the best childhood my whole life. I had the best childhood. I loved it.
As a dad, it's never crossed my mind that I want to hit my kid when he's misbehaving.
Yeah, I don't want to touch him.
That's just so weird. Anyway. All right. That'll do it for Table Topics. I want to thank Chris Llewellyn from Rend Collective for joining us today. Make sure to check out their new music wherever you get your music, and check out their Feel Good Folk Tour, which kicks off this week. Also, if you heard last episode, you know that we have some big announcements coming out in the coming weeks. We have a new issue. We have a new podcast. We have some new video stuff coming. Don't miss a thing. Follow us on all the socials. We are either Relevant or Relevant Magazine on all the different social media apps. And make sure to sign up for Relevant Today, our daily newsletter where we send you our top 5 trending stories straight to your inbox. Great way to start your day. All right. On that note, we will wrap things up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Derek Miner.
I'm Emily Brown.
I'm Marty.
We'll see you on Friday. Have a great week, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
Relevant Podcast Network.